Greetings, fellow detectives. Wizard Kitten 774 here, bringing you the next video in our Nancy Drew Secret of the Scarlet Hand walkthrough. We were following up on the note that Henrik left us to make sure that we could get all the way through the temple quiz, but we can't because there's one question at the end of the quiz on the second level that doesn't have an answer. At least not in any of the exhibits here. Or so Sonny told us in his floppy disk. So, I mean, we're just in the garden now. We can walk through the garden. I'm assuming that if we go this way... Oops. Oh! Uh-oh.
Henrik! Henrik!
Yeah, Henrik. Ooh. That's the second time we've heard sirens in this game. Eee, that's no good.
Amnesia? Wow. Henrik must have taken a real nosedive off that pyramid. Do you think he just fell, Nancy? Or was he pushed? Sounds like you need to find out about hospital visiting hours. Yeah, but you'd better get the lowdown from Joanna first. George is right. She is your supervisor, after all.
Alright. Very obvious advice from Bess and George on what to do next. So, just as a little gameplay hint, that is what you need to do in order to progress further in the game. You need to get Henrik to fall down the pyramid, and the way you do that is by walking all the way through the garden and entering the main level of the museum on that side entrance. So, if nothing's happened to you for a while and you're starting to get confused, that's what you need to do. It takes a long time to figure that out, because there's really no reason that you would have to go that way other than that's where the scene comes from. So, just so you know, let's talk to Joanna.
First the Pakal carving is stolen, and now my star glyph man bumps his head and forgets his own name? What's next, Nancy? Del Rio pulls the plug on the monolith, the board clams up on my funding, my mother posts my old prom pictures on the internet.
Take it easy, Joanna. I'm sure everything is going to be okay.
What I need from you right now is action, not commentary, Nancy. Will you follow up with the hospital and see if there's anything we can do to get Henrik's marbles back?
I'll call right away.
You can also pick up Henrik's mail if he gets any. Keep the lab in order and just try to help me keep the entire museum from going up in smoke.
I did the chemical analysis you suggested. That red hand was printed with a compound containing mercury and sulfur. Does that mean anything to you?
Sure, cinnabar. The Maya would rub it into their most important carvings to add definition to the artist's lines.
Does the museum keep cinnabar around?
We use cinnabar here at the museum the same way the Maya did, to keep things as authentic as possible. Henrik orders those kinds of supplies, but we've been out of stock for quite a while. The last I heard, there was some kind of holdup with the distributor.
Apparently, a Topeka woman named Prudence Rutherford has recently been visited by a red-handed thief, too. Do you have any idea how I might get in touch with her?
Afraid I can't help you there.
I've got work to do.
Bye!
And I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but Prudence Rutherford is someone that we do talk to in later games as well, in Danger by Design and Phantom of Venice. She's an interesting lady. Okay, so we need to find out about when hospital visiting hours are. So maybe let's see if we can call the hospital. I mean, do they have a number for us to call the hospital?
You have voicemail. Press 0 to retrieve messages.
We
Press
have
9
voicemail.
for an outside line.
Nancy, hi. It's Franklin Rose. I'm calling because it's just... this theft is very bad news for the museum. You can't imagine the limb we went out on to acquire that Pakal carving. It's been one of the museum's main attractions. I don't want to take you away from your internship, but if you can do a little investigating, well, I think I speak for the whole board when I say we'd be very grateful. Give me a call when you have a chance. And Nancy, Thanks.
This message is for Nancy Drew. Hi, Nancy. This is Nurse Bluefoot calling from Eleanor Roosevelt Memorial Hospital in regards to Henrik Vanderheun. I believe you're a colleague of his? Since Mr. Vanderheun was admitted, he has repeated your name several times in states of semi-consciousness. As we've been unable to contact any of his family members, we're hoping you might be willing to act as Henrik's support person as he begins the difficult process of restoring his memory. Please call me as soon as possible to discuss this. My direct line is 202-555-4000. Thank you.
To replay messages, press 0. Press 9 for an outside line.
And just as a general hint for this game, it's a good idea to write down all of the phone numbers that you get for people, because for some reason they don't save a lot of them in Nancy's little phone book down here, so it can get kind of confusing. We should probably check up with Franklin Rose quick.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
This is Nancy Drew, calling for Franklin Rose, please.
Just a minute, please.
Nancy, hello. Do you have any news?
The thief left a red handprint at the scene of the crime. According to Taylor Sinclair, the same print was left at a couple of other crime scenes recently. I'm trying to find out what the connection is between these thefts.
Oh, Nancy, you zero in on a case like a heat-seeking missile, don't you? I feel so much better knowing you're going to follow up on every lead. I'll help in any way I can.
I need to contact a woman named Prudence Rutherford. I noticed she's on the board of the Topeka Commission for the Arts, and that they've donated money to Beach Hill. Any idea how I might track her down?
Well, you're in luck. It so happens that Prudence and I sat on the panel of judges for the Kansas Speak No Evil Mime competition for 3 years in a row, back when I lived in Wichita. How's that for a small world?
You judged a mime competition?
Indeed I did. I haven't talked to Prudence in about 10 years. But let's see if I still have her in this old dinosaur of a Rolodex. Ah, yes, here we go. Got a pen? It's area code 785-555-7279. What's this all about?
Miss Rutherford had a necklace with a Maya artifact stolen right out of her home. I'm trying to see if there's any connection between these robberies.
Ha! You're a real pro, Nancy. Say, why don't I call ahead and let Prudence know what's going on? That way I can say hello and she'll be expecting you.
That would be great, Mr. Rose.
Not a problem, dear.
Alright, so he's going to talk to Prudence for us. Let's call the hospital quick. Again, I would recommend writing down Prudence's number. Oh, whoop. Oh, it's a local number, so we don't have to dial the area
You
code.
have no voicemail.
Outside line. 555-4000. I'll call the hospital. Talk to Nurse Bluefoot.
This is Nurse Bluefoot.
Nurse Bluefoot, this is Nancy Drew. You left me a message regarding Henrik Vanderheun. How is he?
Nancy Drew? Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I'm so relieved. We've been unable to locate any family members, and we do like amnesia patients to have at least one personal support person when they begin reality orientation.
What's reality orientation?
Well, reality orientation is a kind of treatment that helps a patient get reacquainted with the facts and circumstances of his or her life. Henrik has not actually lost his memory. It's just that his brain is injured in such a way that he can't access the place where the memories are stored.
I see. So we need to help him find the trail of crumbs. Is that it?
Exactly. First, we do repetitive memory exercises to help Henrik relearn the basic facts, like his name and address, the name of his parakeet, if he has one, the date, and so on. Second, we try to stimulate Henrik's sensory memories in order to help trigger or find the way back to his cognitive memories.
What are sensory memories?
A sensory memory is like it sounds, something that is familiar, that you recognize by sight or touch, smell or sound or... oh, what is that last one? Oh yes, taste. A cognitive memory is something that you know or remember intellectually. For example, how do you know the name of this planet? Somewhere along the way you learn that it's called Earth, and you just remember. But say you bump your head and forget the name of this planet. You don't know where in the solar system you're floating.
That would be most unfortunate.
Exactly. But then I show you a picture of our marvelous blue and green globe. Suddenly you remember. That glorious sight is Earth. I live on the planet Earth. This is how a sensory memory can trigger a cognitive or intellectual one.
I still don't understand where I come in.
You can't help Henrik remember his childhood, but you can probably help him remember his work, and who knows where that will take him. All roads lead to Rome, as they say. One great tool is the Reality Orientation Board. This is a place to post information and pictures for the patient to look at over a period of time. You may want to bring in images or photos to place on the board. Things from the museum, perhaps.
I see. Well, I'll be happy to help in any way I can. When are visiting hours?
Visiting hours are 10 to 4 every day, if the patient is not engaged in treatment and if he seems stable.
Great. Is there anything else?
Just remember, Henrik's brain has been knocked around like a peanut in its shell. He may have attention difficulties, headaches, anxiety. Sometimes he may seem giddy, too. We need to keep these conditions in check. Don't push him too hard, or he may have some kind of meltdown.
Well, the last thing we want is a meltdown. I'll go easy on him.
Bye-bye.
Interesting. Little bit of amnesia for poor Henrik, and it's 12:15, so we can visit him right now. Let's go see Henrik. Let's go to the hospital. Hopefully he's doing okay, despite the traumatic brain injury. Those can really be debilitating. I mean, the effects of those can last long after the brain is healed. It's unfortunate. Henrik, what's up?
You look familiar. Is it time for my snack?
Hi, Henrik. I'm Nancy. We met at Beach Hill before your head injury.
Beach Hill?
Which one will be not too overwhelming?
Beach Hill is a museum here in Washington, D.C. The curator's name is Joanna Riggs. You were working there, and that's where your accident happened. Do you remember anything about the accident?
Joanna Riggs. Is that the woman who called to pick my brain for an access code?
What access code would that be?
Where in my poor banged-up head would I be keeping access codes? I don't even remember my own birthday. So if you're here to squeeze me for details, you're wasting your time.
According to Nurse Bluefoot, you haven't lost any data. Your brain just doesn't know how to locate certain things at the moment. We need to give it some clues.
How, pray tell, do you intend to do that?
I'll visit, we'll talk. Sometimes I'll bring you pictures.
Pictures? Well, isn't this nice?
I can never really tell if he's being sarcastic there or if he's actually like responding that way because he's got a brain injury. I don't know. Either way, it's entertaining.
Come on, Henrik. You'll feel much better once things start coming back to you. I've got a picture with me if you'd like to give it a try.
Fine, I'll do it.
Alright, so we want to give this picture, put this picture on his reality board. The red handprint.
Great. These are Maya glyphs, like the ones you used to translate. Now, don't be upset if you don't know how to read them anymore. I can tell you what they mean.
I know what they mean, dear. I wrote them.
I'm sure you have written them at one time or another in your career. So, what do you think this is all about? The magician suffers yellow death.
Your translator is sloppy. I should know. I am the author of the original work.
The author? What are you talking about?
That first glyph is the fool, not the magician. Furthermore, any decent epigrapher knows those glyphs refer to the infamous plague of oozing hives. A fitting curse for a fool, don't you think? I rather like it.
Henrik, this note was found at a crime scene. Are you telling me you left it there?
I don't remember.
I'm investigating the theft of the Pakal carving. Please, Henrik, try to remember something.
Who in the world is Pakal? Oh, my head. Oh, the pressure. I can't take any more today, Nancy.
Okay, it's time for some memory therapy. Nancy, could you come back tomorrow?
Alright, this is a good place to stop. I will see you in the next video, fellow detectives. So long.